Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone. I call this meeting to order at 5:27 p.m. We'll start with a roll call to my right.
Patrick here.
Morris here.
Sorry.
Caldwell here.
Okay, let the record reflect that a quorum of council is present. At this time, we will go to public comments. Wanting to hear from any of those who have signed in before the meeting was called to order. Do we have anyone? Okay, so we don't have anyone for public comments. So let's just go into number 4, the public hearing, ordinances, and resolution of other items. 4.1, consider action of resolution number 2022-59, providing corporate bank authorization for approval bond projects. Okay, did everyone on the council have a chance to review, and do you have any questions?
I just had an error noted on the second, whereas the date is wrong.
Yes, ma'am. On the second whereas, the 25th will be changed to the 26th.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. And then on section 1, you can see that we left the drawn on blank. We had a couple of options. Typically, with a short-term investment like this, you'll go to a high-yield company such as Techstar. That's usually who your FAs will use, your financial advisors will recommend. Just out of curiosity, I did reach out to where our bank depository here, which is First National Winnsboro, and said, hey, can you match that? What can you do for the city? You know, hoping that we could keep the funds local. And so what First National has been able to offer on a short-term investment basis is 12 months at a fixed 0.98% interest rate, which is pretty comparable when I look at the Techstar rates. Techstar, which is the typical high-yield investment account, they do two things. They do a daily rate, and then they do a monthly average rate. And so when you pull their daily rates, sometimes they're as high as 1.5%. Sometimes they're much lower than that. Their average for June was 0.98, which is exactly where our local bank is committing to us also. Prior to that, for Techstar, their interest rate yield for the month was 0.64. And it just continues to go down months prior to that. So I just wanted to present you guys with those options and let you make the decision on where you wanted to open those accounts. There will be 2 separate accounts, one for each project. I think it'd be a little bit cleaner and easier to administer those funds that way. And so that's what's in front of you all.
The other bank is Textra,
Techstar, yes ma'am.
and where are they located?
They're in the Metroplex.
I think this council has really endorsed supporting locally. And I think that if we can keep it local and if it's comparable, that we really should do that.
And so that rate is, that's definitely gonna be the same rate for the private, it's not gonna change.
That's correct. That's correct. It's a fixed rate. And she's also, they'll do pledge securities. We are over the FDIC on that, but what the bank does is they'll issue the pledge securities to cover anything above that. So I, in fact, told Ms. Mills that I would contact her after the meeting to let her know to go ahead so that she could get those pledge securities in place before Tuesday.
Is there any other consideration besides the rate, any other differences between the two?
I think local would be easier for some of our contractors because we're going to be doing some big dollar amounts, and I think it would make sense for them to be able to go locally. Like Ms. Jones said, you know, we're supporting local, and then also it's just convenient for our contractors also, and for staff. Honestly, if we need to wire transfers, it's people we know, it's people we deal with on a day-to-day basis anyways. But the biggest difference would be the interest rate. One's a guaranteed and one's incredibly variable.
I don't have any other questions.
Anyone else have questions? No? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of resolution number 2022-59, providing corporate bank authorization for the approved bond projects, with the bank being named as the First National Bank of Winnsboro.
Okay, all in approval?
Second that.
Oh, second, I'm sorry. Okay, all in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next, let's go on to 4.2, consider action on a request by Aaron Clemens to replat a 21.1 acre in the Wiley Summerlin Survey, abstract number 558, Wood County, Texas, into 4 1-acre lots, 1-4 and 1 17.18 acre lot on lot 5. Okay, Aaron, if you'd just like to step forward up here and just state your name and address in case we have any questions. So you are needing, or requesting that we divide this up basically, for lack of easier way to put it. And do you have any plans for this? Have you already got plans in the, motion for these plots or?
The lots will be set,
Okay.
and they already have contracts.
And so, have you also gone before the Wood County
Yes, ma'am.
and they approved this all as well? Okay, for the final approval. Okay, did everybody have a chance to kind of review this and kind of look at it?
I have some questions.
Okay,
So, is it 4 lots or 5 lots we're talking about? We're talking about 1 through 4. Well, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm looking at the diagram that has it all marked out. And then lot 5.
Lot
So-
5 is what we want.
Okay. So, on this map, it says that that's sold. So basically, it's just that it's your property, but you want to divide your property up into the other 4 1-acre lots, right? And you're saying that those 1-acre lots are already sold?
Yes, ma'am.
Have contracts on them? Well, congratulations, but I'm one that doesn't like putting the cart before the horse. So if we're looking at approval from the city, I would have liked to have seen that happen before the lots have a contract on them. Understand? Thank you.
Anyone else have questions?
I was just going to add that this is a little bit of a unique situation. This particular piece of property actually is outside of the city limits, and so there's been a little bit of a learning curve, both for myself and Mr. Clemens, and he didn't really realize until the county let him know you're within what's called the ETJ, or extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city, and you have to go to them first. And my understanding is as soon as he learned that from the county, he did come to the city and say, oops, sorry guys, need y'all to look at this too. So being that these exist in the county, there wasn't that understanding or that knowledge that he had to come to us. So I just didn't want you guys to think that it was intentional or anything of that nature. But because he is in that ETJ, he does have to comply with the city's subdivision standards. I've already emailed that. He's been great communicating back and forth with, and so my recommendation at this point would be just, there are still some things that we need to change on the plat, such as designating easements. Nothing that's major that's going to change how the plots are going to end, but there are minor things that our subdivision ordinance requires that Aaron and I have already discussed. So if we can get the approval so that it doesn't delay him on his end, contingent upon compliance with our subdivision ordinance would be my recommendation at this time.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone have questions? Any other questions for Aaron? I'm sorry, Mr. Clemens. I've known you a long time, that's why I called you Aaron, I'm sorry. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for coming forward. You can go sit down there. Mr. Clemens.
Madam Mayor, I move, without objection, that we approve. I'm looking for the number.
There's no number on that one. It's just make the,
His request to replat the property in question contingent upon coming in compliance with
Subdivision ordinance.
the ordinances.
I'll second.
Okay. All in approval?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Clemens, for coming forward. Okay, at this time, I see no further items on the agenda, so we will call the meeting at 5:39 p.m.